Hey people, and welcome to my channel. I'm Mary, and today is Woo Woo Shit Wednesday, where every other Wednesday during spooky season, I share some of my paranormal and woo woo shit experiences with you. So today's video has to do with paranormal experiences, woo woo shit experiences, because they're not all paranormal, that I have had with animals. And the first story happened in 2022. And this happened to be my best friend's cat, Ozzy. Now, Faith is a huge animal lover. She has always loved animals as long as I can remember. She's a dog groomer now, and she has 3 cats and a dog of her own. At this point, we were both in transitional periods of our lives. So yes, we were in our late 20s, early 30s for her, I think. No, late 20s. We were in our late 20s, and we had actually both ended up moving back into our parents' houses. So our entire lives, our parents have lived less than 10 minutes away from each other, and we've known each other our entire lives. Our moms are best friends, our dads are friends, our sisters are good friends, but Faith and I would definitely have to be the closest out of everybody. And I would spend summers over at Faith's parents' house. We would be going back and forth to each other's houses. This is not a place that I'm unfamiliar with. So on this specific night, I had gone over to spend the night at her parents' house just to spend some time with Faith, and I believe we had plans the next day. We're having a rewatch Stranger Things marathon, and I remember we were getting ready for bed, and Faith decided to go take a shower. And where Faith's room was in her parents' house is in the frog above the garage, and it's kind of separated from the rest of the house a little bit, and it's just kind of a good space for her and her animals to be in. And so I'm upstairs and I'm petting her cat Ozzy. And so, like I said, she has 3 cats and a dog. And so the cats are Ozzy, he's a black cat. I'll put a picture of each of them because they're cute and they deserve to be seen. Second cat is Lily, she's an older tortie. And then the third cat is Hero, and he's an orange tabby. And then there's Blair, who's the dog, and she's just in here for cuteness because why not? So I am petting Ozzy, who is her black cat. And while I'm petting him, have a I have a feeling, and then there's when I have experiences like this, there's a voice that happens in my head a lot of times. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but this is just how it is. And I call it my soul voice. It is my voice, and it's the most sure, grounded, rooted in me voice that ever happens in my head. There's no question to it. It is very certain. Um, and so I'm petting Ozzy, and I have this feeling that he's gonna leave, and then that voice happens and it says, "You can go now." And I'm like, I immediately start panicking. I'm like, well, where is he going? What's gonna happen? This is my favorite of Faith's 3 cats. Nothing can happen to this cat. What do we mean something's gonna happen? And a lot of times with my gifts, this is how it'll be of like, I will have a knowing, and then I will immediately start panicking because I only know a little piece and I don't know the whole picture, and it gets scary. So, I have this feeling, but this also is happening in a time in my life where I had a lot of crazy woo-woo shit experiences that it was traumatic for me, to be honest with you. And I really didn't want to believe in my gifts at this point. They scared the shit out of me, and I was trying to brush it off, and I didn't say anything to Faith. I was scared. And I honestly was just writing it off as I was crazy, and because that would be easier than facing a lot of the things that I've had knowings and feelings about. So we go to bed. I'm laying there thinking about it. And so the next morning, we end up waking up to Faith's mom calling up the stairs looking for Ozzy. And we both immediately pop out of bed and we know something's wrong. So we run downstairs. And we come to find out that Ozzy and Hero, two of Faith's cats, had gotten out of the front door of her parents' house. And Hero had gotten outside, got scared, and ran straight back into the house. But Ozzy they couldn't find. Now, Faith, being the animal lover that she is, was immediately like, I'm going outside, I'm looking for him, and I'm following right behind her. So we put on our shoes, we're going and we're looking for Ozzy, we're calling for him, he's not coming. Faith is starting to freak out more and more. And during this whole time, I just have um this knowing, this feeling of this is Ozzy's soul path. He needs to have this experience and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And that's just a feeling that I keep having. So, a little bit of backstory on Ozzy. How Faith ended up getting Ozzy was that he was actually a feral cat. He lived outside of a dumpster as a kitten, outside of her ex boyfriend's job, and he worked at a restaurant. He was a cook at a restaurant. And one day, her ex boyfriend's asshole of a boss, asshole, he's just an asshole, decides that he's going to take a BB gun and go shoot at the feral cats outside of the dumpster. Well, lo and behold, asshole ends up shooting Ozzy in the leg. And other people that find out that this happened end up trapping him to get him help. And so Faith's ex-boyfriend comes home and tells her, at this point, obviously they're together, comes home and he tells her what happened. And Faith, being who she is immediately like, I want this cat. I want to take it in. I want this cat. So as soon as he's done, I believe they had to extract the bullet from his leg. He was shot. So as soon as he was able to come home, he came home to her. And a lot of times with my gifts, I have like knowings, and then the analytical part of my mind is able to I'm very fascinated by how these things kind of work together and how they kind of weave our life paths. And this is something that I've noticed even happens with animals. So I felt like because Ozzy didn't get to have the choice of whether or not he wanted to be a street cat or not, this was kind of his time to be able to make that choice for himself. And something it's something that he needed to do. So I keep having this knowing, these feelings, and Faith is frantically looking for her cat. She's very frustrated. I'm trying to help her. And I was like, I don't feel like he's gotten hurt. I don't feel like he's on the other side. I feel like he's going to come back. And she also felt that way. She also felt like he was going to come home. But a lot of times that doesn't stop you from panicking in those moments, because there's always the possibility that that's not right. So Faith continues to look for Ozzy, and this happened a week before Christmas. So Faith and I, every night after work, are going out there looking for Ozzy. There were a few nights that I couldn't make it, and Faith was going by herself. And one of those nights, she ended up spraining her ankle. And she calls me, and she's like, I just feel like this is just the universe telling me, just sit down and wait. And I want to say this was like 3 or 4 days at this point. He had been gone. And I just keep reiterating to her, I'm like, he's not on the other side. I know he's okay. The week goes on, and Faith's ankle is really bad. She's limping. She can't go look for him. And I had something traumatic happen in my family where we decided that was a whole other woo-woo shit experience. That was the most traumatic one for me. And my family decided that we were going to have Christmas out of town that year. So at this point, I'm in the mountains for Christmas, and Faith is very frustrated by what's going on. She's very worried about Ozzy, but she went up to Pennsylvania with her dad for Christmas with her family in Pennsylvania, and her mom stayed home. And so, fast forward to Christmas Day. I've had Christmas Day with my family. We're still in the mountains, and we were in Brevard, North Carolina, and there was a snowstorm or an ice storm. We ended up in -8-degree weather without power for Christmas. But that night, I ended up having a dream that Ozzy came home. And I didn't really think anything of it. I barely remembered it the next morning. Like, I knew that it happened, but I didn't really think about it again until we had gotten home from our trip the next day. And I remember I was laying on my bedroom floor. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was laying on the floor like a weirdo. And I had this feeling of, you need to text Faith about that dream. So I texted Faith and I said, hey, I had a dream that Ozzy came home last night. And I send the text message, and her response is, Mom literally just texted me and said Ozzy just ran in the house. And he had been gone for, I think it was like a week and a half. But this came at a time where I really needed to see something beautiful come from the woo-woo shit stuff that I deal with. And I was so happy that Faith, that Ozzy came home, and that he had his time to make his choice, and he ultimately chose to come back to Faith. And he's very enamored by outside, but he has not really tried to run away again since. Yeah, it's just one of those experiences that brings me happiness and is a little woo-woo, a little strange. There have also been experiences that I've had with animal spirits. Like, there's a cat in my room that I sleep in now, actually, in my apartment, that my cat, Lucifer, who you see walking around in the video, he typically does not sleep in my room. He's still young, so he likes to go out and play with his other kitty friends at night. But there will be times where, in the middle of the night, I will feel a cat jump up on the bed and curl up next to me. And I'll think it's Lucifer, and then I'll wake up and remember Lucifer's not in my room, and I feel the cat get up and jump off the bed, which is just, I don't know, it's just cool. And I haven't really tried to go further into that experience just because the cat's energy is nice. There's nothing malevolent about it or dark. It just feels like a cat that was really well loved, that just likes being here. So I'm not gonna do anything to get rid of that spirit. There are also a lot of experiences that I've had that have to do with animals passing that have been really difficult and traumatic. And I won't get into the details of those because they were traumatic for me. So I don't want to traumatize you, but I have had knowings of, like, an animal passing in a tragic way and then it happening, and that's happened multiple times. But there was a time where that did happen, and I was actually able to connect the owners of that animal with the animal spirit later on, which was a really cool experience, and something that at that point in time I was not ready to do. I was really nervous about it. I was scared that what if I'm wrong? What if I'm giving them the wrong information? I was actually able to help them connect with two of the animals that they had passed, but one of them was really traumatic. And while there was a panic of not knowing what had happened, it was one of those situations where I did know, and there's nothing that I could have done to change it. And that can be a difficult thing about my gifts sometimes, but there's also beautiful things like what happened with Ozzy, or being able to feel animal spirits that are cuddly and happy and just want to stick around for a while. So, in 2 weeks, I'll put the date up here. It's 2 weeks from now, 2 Wednesdays from now, I will have our next Woo Woo Shit Wednesday out for the season. And in this video, I will share some paranormal experiences that I've had with human spirits and human knowings and things that are kind of crazy. So, if those are things that you're into, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.